in the vast landscape of storytelling, from ancient myths to modern blockbusters, there's a pattern you might have noticed. The heroes destined to save the world often walk a solitary path. These chosen ones, marked by fate for greatness, frequently find themselves without deep friendships or romantic relationships. But why is this loneliness so common? What is it about being the one that seems to demand isolation? The image of the lone hero standing against darkness is powerful. Think of Luke Skywalker gazing at the twin suns, Harry Potter in his cupboard under the stairs, or Frodo Baggins leaving the Shire behind. Today, we're exploring 7 profound reasons why chosen ones in our stories often walk alone. The burden of destiny. The chosen one carries a weight that others simply cannot understand. When you're marked by prophecy or special abilities, you bear a responsibility that creates an invisible barrier between you and everyone else. In The Matrix, Neo discovers he is the One, destined to free humanity from machine control. As Morpheus tells him, "I'm trying to free your mind, Neo, but I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it." This burden of choice and destiny separates Neo from others. Even those fighting alongside him cannot fully grasp what it means to be in his position. Similarly, Katniss Everdeen in The Hunger Games becomes a symbol of rebellion, a role she never sought. Her unique position as the Mockingjay isolates her, as she alone must bear the weight of an entire revolution's hopes. The pressure of being the chosen one creates a profound loneliness that ordinary relationships struggle to penetrate. Dangerous connections. For many chosen ones, connections become liabilities. Those close to them become targets for enemies, forcing many heroes to push others away as an act of protection. Peter Parker learns this painful lesson in Spider-Man when his enemy Green Goblin discovers his identity and targets his Aunt May and Mary Jane. Uncle Ben's words haunt him. With great power comes great responsibility. Part of that responsibility, Peter discovers, is keeping loved ones at a safe distance. Batman similarly keeps people at arm's length, knowing that his enemies would target anyone he cares about. His isolation isn't just a personality trait, it's a strategic choice to protect others from the danger that surrounds him constantly. Different life experiences. The chosen one typically undergoes experiences that fundamentally change them in ways others cannot comprehend. These experiences create a gap in understanding that's difficult to bridge. Frodo Baggins in The Lord of the Rings carries the One Ring, experiencing its corrupting influence in a way no one else in his party can fully understand. When he returns to the Shire after his quest, he tells Sam, "How do you pick up the threads of an old life? How do you go on when in your heart you begin to understand there is no going back?" His journey has transformed him in ways that make genuine connection with his old friends impossible. Eleven from Stranger Things was raised in a laboratory, subjected to experiments that gave her psychic powers. Her unusual upbringing and abilities create barriers to normal friendship. She doesn't understand social norms, slang, or typical childhood experiences, making her feel perpetually different, even among friends who accept her. The need for emotional distance. Many chosen ones learn to keep their emotions in check. Their decisions affect countless lives, requiring them to act with a clarity that personal attachments might cloud. In Dune, Paul Atreides becomes the Kwisatz Haderach, a messianic figure whose decisions will shape the fate of the universe. He must maintain emotional distance to make the necessary choices. As he says, "I must not fear." Fear is the mind killer. This applies not just to fear, but to all emotions that might interfere with his cosmic responsibility. Doctor Strange in the Marvel Universe similarly distances himself emotionally after becoming the Sorcerer Supreme. His role as protector of reality requires him to make impossible choices, sometimes sacrificing individual lives, even those he cares about, for the greater good. Trust issues. Betrayal often shapes the chosen one's journey. After being deceived or manipulated, many heroes struggle to form new bonds of trust. Rey in the Star Wars sequel trilogy was abandoned by her parents and spent years waiting for their return. This abandonment creates deep-seated trust issues that make forming new connections difficult. She initially resists her connection with Finn and is suspicious of Luke Skywalker's intentions. John Connor in the Terminator series grows up knowing machines disguised as humans are hunting him. His mother raises him to trust no one, creating a permanent barrier between him and potential friends or romantic partners. When everyone could potentially be an enemy in disguise, opening up becomes nearly impossible. The isolating nature of power. Great power creates natural separation. Others may fear the chosen one, envy them, or worship them, none of which forms the basis for genuine connection. In X-Men, Jean Grey's Phoenix powers grow to a level that frightens even her closest friends. Professor Xavier himself becomes wary of her abilities. This fear creates isolation even among her fellow mutants, who themselves know what it's like to be different. Superman, despite his desire to connect with humanity, remains perpetually apart because of his godlike abilities. As he confesses to Lois Lane, "I hear everything." You wrote that the world doesn't need a savior, but every day I hear people crying for one. His superhearing means he perceives suffering on a scale others cannot comprehend, creating a fundamental difference in how he experiences the world. The journey of self-discovery. Finally, the Chosen One's path is ultimately one of self-discovery, a deeply personal journey that others cannot walk for them. Aang in Avatar, The Last Airbender, must master all 4 elements and connect with his past lives, experiences unique to the Avatar. While he forms friendships, certain aspects of his journey are inherently solitary. No one else can learn what it means to be the bridge between the human and spirit worlds. Elsa in Frozen must learn to control and accept her ice powers on her own. Her iconic song, "Let It Go," captures this solitary journey of self-acceptance. The wind is howling like this swirling storm inside. Couldn't keep it in, heaven knows I tried. Though she eventually reconnects with her sister, the core of her character development is a deeply personal struggle. The paradox of the Chosen One. The irony of the Chosen One's journey is that they often fight to save a world they can never fully be part of. Their ultimate sacrifice isn't just risking their lives, it's accepting a fundamental disconnection from the very people they protect. Yet this isolation isn't entirely tragic. In their solitude, Chosen Ones often find a deeper understanding of themselves and the world around them. Their separation gives them perspective. Others lack, allowing them to see solutions invisible to those embedded in normal social connections. And sometimes, the true victory for the Chosen One isn't defeating the external enemy, but finding authentic connection despite everything that sets them apart. When Harry Potter marries Ginny Weasley, when Neo finds understanding with Trinity, these connections feel earned precisely because they overcome the isolation inherent to the Chosen One's journey. In the end, perhaps that's why we're drawn to these stories. The Chosen One's loneliness reflects a universal feeling that there are parts of ourselves others can never fully understand. Their struggle for connection despite their differences gives us hope for our own. Though we may not be destined to save the world, we all know what it's like to feel apart, and we all share the desire to find those who will accept us, magical powers and prophetic destinies included.